Thank you all for listening and watching my videos. Please subscribe and like my channel Master Coolitz. Hoping that you will not skip my ads. It's a big help for me by not skipping it. Thank you so much. Dragon Shadow. The Rise.
The shriek echoed through the halls of the Leo family estate, sending a wave of panic and dread rippling through its members. Servants dropped their trays, elders paused mid-discussion, and children clutched their toys tighter. In the elders' hall and the patriarch's chamber, fear gripped the hearts of all present. The Leo family, known for its formidable strength, was suddenly enveloped in a cloud of uncertainty and terror.
This is bad. Something must have happened where Gabriel's stone is kept. Quick! Summon all the elders and the disciples above the advanced level to the place of inheritance. Now!
His voice, laced with vital energy, reverberated throughout the entire estate, mobilizing the family into action. The sound of hurried footsteps and the rustling of robes filled the air as figures moved with purpose. The patriarch's command was absolute. No one dared to hesitate. The atmosphere grew tense as warriors and elders alike donned their battle gear, their expressions a mix of fear and determination. Above the place of inheritance, they gathered. Hundreds of advanced level experts, and higher, their auras thick and imposing, landed on the empty ground before the stone gate passageway. Their expressions were grave, eyes fixed on the dark, ominous tunnel ahead. Whispers of concern passed through the crowd. The Liu family's strength was renowned, yet the oppressive energy emanating from the tunnel made even the bravest warriors uneasy.
The oppressive feeling? Could it be that Gabriel's stone has been released?
The ground trembled, and a series of heavy, thumping footsteps resonated from the passage, growing louder and more ominous with each step. The air was thick with tension as the gathered experts exchanged worried glances. Each step echoed like a drumbeat of impending doom, and the earth beneath their feet seemed to pulse with each thud. Bam! A violent sound shattered the tense silence, followed by huge chunks of gravel flying out, striking one of the young men and sending him crashing to the ground. The crowd recoiled in shock, some reaching for their weapons instinctively. Dust and debris filled the air, and the young man's pained groan was a stark reminder of the danger they faced.
Be careful. The enemy is approaching.
Emerging from the shadows, three figures stepped into the light: Zane Martel, Scarlet, and Gabriel Stone. Their faces fell as they took in the sight of the Leo family members assembled against them. Zane's eyes narrowed, and Scarlet's expression hardened as they realized the scale of the confrontation awaiting them.
Gabriel Stone, disciples of the Leo family, listen up. Don't let this demon walk out of here alive. Set up the formation now.
The disciples sprang into action, their movements a blur as they arranged themselves into a formidable formation. At its center stood the patriarch and the most powerful elders. The formation glowed with an ancient, powerful energy, creating a barrier that pulsed with defensive strength. Each disciple took their position with practiced precision, their faces reflecting a mix of fear and resolve.
Scarlet, as a talented member of the Leo family, you released the demon that we had sealed for years. You deserve death.
Scarlet's face turned green, and she trembled under the weight of the accusation. Her mind raced, trying to find words to defend herself, but the patriarch's eyes bore into her, leaving no room for argument. The realization of her betrayal's gravity hit her like a physical blow, and she staggered back, clutching her chest.
It's clear they tricked us. There was no ancestors' inheritance. They just wanted our blood essence to refine Gabriel Stone into a puppet.
The crowd murmured in shock and confusion, their eyes darting between Zane and the patriarch. The realization of the betrayal dawned on them like a dark cloud, casting a shadow over their loyalty and trust.
Patriarch, elders, you deceived me. There was no ancestors' inheritance.
Scarlet's voice cracked with emotion, tears streaming down her face. She had trusted the patriarch and the elders, believing in their promises and the supposed glory of their family's heritage. Now, that trust was shattered, replaced with a cold, bitter realization of betrayal.
Shut up, ungrateful imbecile. The family has spent so much on you. Now kneel and beg for mercy.
The patriarch's voice was harsh, cutting through Scarlet's pleas like a knife. His face was a mask of anger and disdain, showing no remorse for the deception. The other elders nodded in agreement, their expressions equally unforgiving. Scarlet's face went pale, her body shaking with rage as blood seeped from her gnawed lips. Her hope in the Leo family shattered. The dreams she had held on to for so long, the pride she felt in her lineage, were now crumbling around her.
Ha ha. A bunch of old dogs deceiving disciples. Using us to refine puppets. You should use your own lives instead. Enough of your shameless excuses.
Zane's laughter was bitter, filled with contempt. He looked around at the gathered elders and disciples, his eyes blazing with fury. He couldn't believe the length the Leo family would go to achieve their twisted goals.
Bastard, I'm reprimanding one of my disciples. You have no right to interrupt.
The patriarch's roar echoed through the air, his face contorted with rage. His authority was being challenged, and he wouldn't stand for it. The tension in the air grew thicker, the animosity between Zane and the patriarch palpable.
Who the hell are you? So what? Respect? Ha, a group of old bastards.
Zane's defiance only fueled the patriarch's anger. The other elders exchanged uneasy glances, sensing the brewing storm. The disciples shifted nervously, unsure of what would happen next. The patriarch fumed at Zane Martel's attitude, his eyes blazing with fury. He clenched his fists, struggling to maintain control over his seething rage.
Good scolding, Zane. The Leo family, especially these old farts, deserve it.
Gabriel Stone's laughter rang out, mocking and taunting. His presence was a reminder of the Liu family's darkest secrets and their willingness to betray their own.
Damn it! Steven, you think you're qualified to make a fuss after winning the sect competition? You've ruined centuries of planning. Not even the Dark Wolf Hall can save you now.
The ground shook as another group rushed over, led by Evan Blackwood, his face contorted with rage. Behind him were disciples in the uniform of the Godwill sect. Their arrival added a new layer of tension to the already volatile situation.
Steven, you're dead. You've ruined the Godwill sect's plan as well.
Zane Martel's eyes widened in realization. The Leo and Yang families, outwardly aligned with the Zan sect, had secret dealings with the Godwill sect. The web of deceit and betrayal was more complex than he had imagined.
Haha, isn't this Evan Blackwood? Was the previous lesson not enough? Ready for another?
Zane's voice dripped with sarcasm, his eyes locked on Evan. The tension between them crackled like electricity, each word a challenge.
Steven, I swear I will kill you!
Evan's rage was palpable, his body trembling with the force of his anger. He had been humiliated before, and he wouldn't allow it to happen again.
Scarlet, you are foolish. Swear to be mine, and maybe I'll ask the Patriarch to spare your life.
Evan's eyes roved over Scarlet's trembling form, his voice dripping with lechery. The very sight of him made Scarlet's skin crawl.
Don't even think about it. Even if I die here, you won't touch an inch of my skin.
Scarlet's defiance was a beacon of strength amidst the chaos. Her voice, though shaky, held a steely resolve that defied Evan's advances. Evan Blackwood's face twisted with rage and lust, his voice a venomous hiss. The audacity of Scarlet's refusal fueled his anger even further.
How dare you! What did you and Steven do behind my back? No one else can have what I can't. Kill them all.
With a roar, the disciples charged forward, the battle commencing with a ferocity that promised dire consequences. The clash of forces echoed through the halls, and as the dust began to settle, one question lingered in the air. Who would emerge victorious in this deadly confrontation? The scene was set in a war-torn courtyard, the tension crackling in the air. Blood-stained ground and the scent of fear hung thick. The remnants of shattered pavilions and collapsed houses were scattered everywhere. The air was heavy with the acrid smell of smoke and the metallic tang of blood. From the Godwill sect, a voice boomed defiantly.
Since you're from the Godwill sect, bring it on. I'd like to see who can kill me.
Gabriel Stone's voice cut through the chaos, cold and unwavering. His eyes burned with an intense fury as he prepared to unleash his wrath. His fists flew with brutal precision, each punch charged with deadly energy. The heads of several advancing disciples exploded like watermelons, splattering brains on the ground and even on Evan Blackwood's horrified face. The gruesome scene sent a wave of panic through the ranks.
What the...
He stood rooted to the spot, paralyzed by fear. His mind struggled to process the brutality unfolding before him.
Damn it! Let's attack together! Don't spare them any chance. Kill Gabriel Stone immediately!
The command was clear. More than 50 advanced-level practitioners charged at Gabriel Stone, forming a deadly formation. They moved with practiced precision, their weapons gleaming menacingly in the dim light.
Good. The Liu family has tortured me for years. Today, I will settle the score.
Gabriel Stone's fist blazed as he rushed forward, a demonic beast unleashed from hell itself. His aura flared with an intensity that sent shivers down the spines of his enemies. The ground shook as streaks of flames erupted, sending Liu family disciples flying. The sheer force of his attack was overwhelming. Even Zane Martel, witnessing the sheer power, was in shock.
Expert level. Unbelievable.
Gabriel Stone's ferocity was unmatched, his strength far beyond the Liu family's capabilities. He moved with the grace of a predator, his strikes lethal and precise. The air was thick with the scent of burning flesh and the sounds of anguished cries.
Damn it, how dare you! Set up the formation. 8-element devil subduing formation. Suppress.
The formation sprang to life, a dark light enveloping the battlefield. Runes glowed ominously, casting eerie shadows. A colossal black shadow descended, clashing with Gabriel Stone's fist, creating a shockwave that rippled through the courtyard. The collision shook the earth, houses and pavilions collapsing under the force. The ground cracked open, sending dust and debris flying into the air. The noise was deafening, and the shockwave rippled through the battlefield, causing even the bravest fighters to hesitate. But even the combined strength of over 50 experts couldn't match Gabriel Stone's intimidating power. His aura was a blazing inferno, a testament to his unyielding will and sheer might.
Kill them! Kill them all! Kill Steven! Kill that little bitch, Scarlet, as well!
The disciples of the Godwill sect charged at Zane Martel with murderous intent. Their eyes burned with hatred, and their weapons glinted menacingly under the flickering flames.
Steven, we are here to kill you. Die!
Zane Martel turned swiftly, his Black Abyss sword meeting the attack head-on. The clang of metal echoed through the air as his blade cut through his opponent's spear with a single, precise strike. But the onslaught didn't cease. Blades and swords rained down on Zane Martel like a hurricane, each strike more vicious than the last. He moved with agility and precision, a master of his craft.
Power of wind, serpent, step.
He moved like a ghost, dodging every attack with ease. His movements were a blur, his form barely visible as he weaved through the chaos. Scarlet, despite her resentment towards her family's tormentors, fought fiercely against the disciples, her sword a whirlwind of death.
Ha ha ha, Steven. You call yourself a wolf prince from the Dark Wolf Hall? Now you're just a dog running for its life. This is your consequence.
Zane Martel's mind raced. The attackers were relentless, their sheer numbers overwhelming. His breath came in short, controlled bursts as he parried another blow, his eyes darting around for an opening.
Everyone, kill him!
Suddenly, Zane Martel stopped, a calm smile forming on his lips. His confidence was unnerving, a stark contrast to the chaos around him.
Ha, ha. Have you finally given up? If you kneel and accept death, I won't destroy your corpse.
But Zane Martel had other plans.
Do you think you're the only one with helpers?
Evan Blackwood was momentarily stunned as Zane Martel's storage ring flipped, releasing a swarm of verdant frogs. 30,000 verdant frogs filled the air, descending upon the Godwill sect. The air was filled with the chaotic buzzing of wings, a deafening chorus of destruction.
What the hell is this? Why are there so many bugs? Kill them!
Panic spread as swords proved useless against the swarm. The disciples slashed wildly at the air, their weapons passing harmlessly through the insects.
Use fire. Insects are afraid of fire.
No, they're immune to fire and water.
Screams echoed as the battlefield turned chaotic. Gabriel Stone and Scarlet were taken aback by Zane Martel's unexpected methods. The verdant frogs swarmed over the disciples, their bites injecting paralyzing venom.
Steven, I can't believe it.
In mere minutes, the combined forces of the Liu family and the Godwill sect had lost 20 men. The battlefield was littered with the fallen, their bodies twitching as the venom took effect. And yet, amidst the chaos, a formidable foe emerged. A man broke through the crowd, his aura radiating strength. His eyes were cold, his expression unreadable. He was at the 7th stage of the advanced level, and he was heading straight for Zane Martel, his presence a new threat that promised even greater danger. Would Zane Martel survive this new onslaught? Or would the combined might of his enemies finally bring him to his knees? The answers lay just beyond the horizon, shrouded in uncertainty and danger. In the heart of the battlefield, Evan Blackwood's sinister laughter pierced through the chaos. The sky was overcast, and the air was thick with the acrid smell of smoke and blood. The clashing of weapons and the cries of battle echoed through the valley, but Evan's laughter cut through it all, a chilling reminder of the menace they faced.
Ha ha ha, Stephen, this time you must die.
A heavy slap from a 7th-stage martial spirit realm warrior sent Zane Martel sprawling back 10 meters. He landed hard, skidding across the ground, his body leaving a deep furrow in the dirt. His muscles ached from the impact, and he could feel the bruise forming under his skin. His expression shifted, a mix of surprise and anger.
7th stage of the martial spirit realm. This is going to be tough. I can't believe the power he's packing. How can I counter this?
Zane knew he could handle a 5th or 6th stage opponent, but this was different. He glanced around the battlefield. Meanwhile, Gabriel Stone in the semi-Mahayana realm was besieged by dozens of opponents. He fought valiantly, his every move a display of raw power and precision. But even he was beginning to show signs of fatigue. Scarlet struggled against her clan members, her movements graceful yet desperate, as she parried and struck with all her might. A figure rushed at Zane, sword in hand, a sinister light gleaming off its blade. The warrior's eyes were cold and filled with murderous intent.
Bastard! You ruined the Godwill sect's plan. Go to hell!
The speed was breathtaking, the sword glow sharp and deadly. The warrior moved with a speed that was almost supernatural, his form blurring as he closed the distance between them.
Get lost!
With a furious roar, Zane's black abyss sword appeared, runes on his body lighting up like stars. The sword pulsed with a dark energy, the runes glowing brighter with every heartbeat. The clash of swords rang out, echoing through the battlefield. Sparks flew as the blades met, the force of their collision sending shockwaves through the air. Zane staggered, knocking his opponent back briefly. He felt the sting of a cut on his arm where the blade had grazed him. Only then did he see him clearly, a petite, monkey-like old man with silver hair, his eyes gleaming with a malevolent light.
Damn it, Stephen is even stronger than I imagined. His speed and power are unreal.
Die.
The old man released an intense light, crescent-shaped sword energy merging into a massive sword wave, nearly 100 meters long. The air around them crackled with energy as the wave descended upon Zane, leaving him with no room to retreat. The sheer size and power of the wave were overwhelming, a force of nature bearing down on him. Zane swiftly formed a finger technique, a black sword seal appearing between his brows. He could feel the vital energy surging within him, responding to his will.
Mission sword!
Thunder and lightning surged between the thick clouds, the shadow of the mission sword condensing in the sky. The sword was enormous, its presence dominating the battlefield. The terrifying sense of oppression stunned everyone. Warriors paused mid-fight to gape at the spectacle, the sheer power radiating from the mission sword, leaving them in awe and fear.
It's the mission sword of the Godwill sect. You've stolen our technique. Kill him.
The mission sword descended like a mountain, colliding with the sword energy. The explosion tore through the air, violent winds and waves surging, knocking down trees and sending debris flying in all directions. The clash was deafening, a cacophony of power that shook the very earth beneath them. The battlefield became a maelstrom of dust and debris, obscuring vision and choking the air with grit.
Damn it! Kill him!
The stalemate lasted only a moment. The mission sword crushed the scorching sword energy, hitting the old man like a meteorite. The ground shook with the impact, a shockwave radiating outward. Rocks splintered and the terrain itself seemed to fracture under the immense force. Warriors from both sides were thrown off their feet, their cries of alarm lost in the chaos. After a few screams, the old man fell, his body scarred and smoking. The heat from the clash had seared his flesh, and the force of the blow had broken bones. His once formidable presence was reduced to a crumpled, lifeless form. Evan Blackwood and the others turned pale, their confidence shattered. The realization that their strongest fighter had fallen so quickly sent a wave of panic through their ranks.
How dare you kill someone of the 7th stage? Don't come over.
Zane moved swiftly, crossing the space at breakneck speed, his eyes locked on Evan. His expression was cold, determined, a silent promise of retribution. Every step he took was measured, deliberate, his focus unwavering despite the chaos around him.
Hurry up! Save me! Anyone from the Godwill sect or the Liu family, help me!
No one noticed him. The others were too frightened by Zane's attack to think of anything but retreat. The ground littered with the fallen. The battlefield was a testament to Zane's overwhelming power.
Haha, it seems that no one is coming to save you.
Stephen, don't kill me. I'm Scarlett's fiancé. If you like her, you can take her. Just spare me.
On the other side, Scarlett had just killed several disciples of the Godwill sect. Her eyes were fierce, her movements swift and lethal, as she cut through her enemies with precision. The ground around her was stained with the blood of those who had dared to oppose her. She breathed heavily, her chest heaving with exertion, but her determination never wavered. The corpses of her enemies lay strewn around her, a testament to her deadly prowess.
It's not enough to vent my anger even if you killed him 1,000 times.
Scarlett's voice was filled with a cold fury, her eyes blazing with anger and frustration. She had fought hard, but the battle was far from over. Her gaze shifted to Zane, her expression hardening as she saw the resolve in his eyes.
Did you hear that? Even Scarlett thinks you deserve to die.
Evan ran. Panic gripped his heart as he saw Zane approaching with lethal intent. He stumbled over the uneven ground, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Zane flicked his finger, a sword energy piercing Evan's throat. The speed and accuracy of the attack left no room for evasion. Blood spurted from the wound, and Evan's hands flew to his throat, his eyes wide with terror.
Help! Help me!
Evan struggled, covering his throat, but soon there was no life left in him. His eyes widened in shock and disbelief as he fell to the ground, blood pooling around him. The disciples of the Godwill sect stared at Zane in panic, their morale crumbling as they witnessed the swift and brutal end of their comrade. Their leader's death was a stark reminder of their vulnerability. The fierce battle continued. Gabriel fought most of the Liu family's disciples, the 8-element devil subduing formation proving powerful. His movements were a blur, a dance of death that kept his enemies at bay. The formation's power was evident, but so was Gabriel's skill in navigating and countering its effects. His strikes were precise, each one landing with devastating effect. Zane's green Anuran cloud had rid most of the disciples of the Godwill sect, hovering protectively around him. The cloud pulsed with energy, a living shield that deflected attacks and struck back with lethal force. The air was thick with tension, the sense of impending doom hanging over the battlefield. The sight of the green Anuran cloud, with its deadly efficiency, struck fear into the hearts of their enemies. The battle was far from over. The tension hung thick in the air, and the question lingered: what would happen next? The outcome was uncertain, and the stakes had never been higher.